Welcome back to that handicapping show. I'm Claire Novak, the return of Tom LaMarra to the show. Today we are going back to Saratoga to take a look at the Fourstardave Handicap, $500,000 on the line for the older turf runners. And Tom, of course, this race, the absence of Wise Dan with the two-time Horse of the Year who had previously won it the past 2 consecutive years, still recovering from colic surgery. But we do have a couple of horses in here who had faced him and who figure to kind of be, well, hopefully be running together down the stretch. Silver Max, of course, is the favorite, otherwise known as the horse who once beat Wise Dan. So we know how the race is going to set up because there's only one way that Silver Max runs, and that's on the front end, and trainer Dale Romans has already said as much. Who do you think can keep up with him?
Well, I do think he will be on the lead. The one concern about the horse, and you know, he's a very, very good turf miler, we know that, is that, you know, he needs to be in front. Mm-hmm. Syed, who drew the 5-hole, Max drew the 1, which of course is advantageous. Syed, you know, is an improving colt. He's shown a lot of speed at a mile and even 7 furlongs. Mm-hmm. But what's interesting about that horse is that he's shown the ability to rate off the pace and then close and win. So that could be a little bit interesting, I think. I wouldn't expect a cutthroat battle here, but of course we've seen that happen before. If that does happen, you know, then look for the other 4 horses who are right behind them. But I do think that Silver Max is vulnerable despite his form, and his last win was great. Mm. But I do think the horse that could keep up with him is Syed. I'm not picking either of them on top. I have a horse that I think I would recommend King, but you can talk about Silver Max. All
right, well, yeah, Dale Romans gave him some time off after the Breeders' Cup. Of course, he won the Shadwell Turf Mile off the turf, that soggy poly-track race at Keeneland, beat Wise Dan, ran 4th in the Breeders' Cup Mile, and then they gave him some time off. He came back to win the Firecracker at Churchill in extremely impressive fashion. And of course, Dale said if there's a horse who can run with him, he'd like to buy that horse because he thinks his horse is, you know, the best freewheeling speed. And the nice thing about him is that he does hold on, and he does have that closing kick at the end. He's going to dig down deep in the lane. A couple of others in here that I like that I was looking at, so we'll see if I hit on anybody you're interested in. But Seek again, the Juddmonte runner, who has been very good in 3 U.S. starts. The source came over here, won the Hollywood Derby. He was still trained by John Gosden at that time. Then he went to Bill Mott. And what happened in the Turf Classic, he was second to Wise Dan by a very small margin, just ahead, and was closing strongly to miss that victory. Last time out in the Manhattan, he ran 3rd. It was a good closing 3rd. Might have needed to be a little bit closer to the pace in that scenario. So I would take a look at him. Of course, he is second choice on the morning line. That makes sense. What you said about the pace scenario is true. You're going to be looking for a horse, if it does heat up, to kind of pick up the pieces. And he has proven that he can turn in that good closing kick.
Yeah. He is the horse that I would key in this race, actually. His last race was a little disappointing. I thought he would blow by, and he didn't. That was at 1.25 miles in the Manhattan. And he was running against good horses. I just really don't, I'm really not sure what this horse's best distance is. He's run well in Europe at 7 furlongs and a mile. With the kind of move he makes, and he can stay fairly close if need be. The mile may be best for him. I guess we'll find out. So in a short field like this, I personally wouldn't get cute. You know, a short exacta wheel with Seek again on top of the other 5 horses, of course, is a $10 bet for $2. I don't know if he's the 2nd or 3rd choice in the morning line.
Might be 2nd.
He is? Okay.
Or no, 3rd.
He's a 3rd choice in the morning line. Jack Milton is another horse, you know, who you know, he loves the mile, and he's a very, very good off the pace type horse. So rather than dropping a couple horses out, just key Seek again, top and bottom, and see what happens.
Alrighty, well, Jack Milton was in the Shoemaker Mile. He ran fifth. It was an okay fifth. He wasn't beaten that much, but Todd Pletcher thought he probably wheeled him back too soon coming off of that poker win. And also, that was that horse's first trip out to the West Coast. So maybe look for him to rebound and run a little better. And I would take a look at one other horse, half of the Brian Lynch duo that's in here, Grand Arch. This is a horse who won the King Edward Stakes with a good late surge. He's never been out of the money in 14 starts, never been worse than third. So I always take a look at a horse like that and say you can't go against that type of form, and you should probably include him in your ticket.
One other thing, too, is, it's a 6-horse field. Lynch has 2 horses in the race. And, I don't like to get burned by using one and not the other, which is another reason why I would recommend just using them all with Seek again, because
Bet all the horses.
we know how, well, it's a short field. It's not going to cost a lot of money, but if you step in it, you may get lucky and actually hit a nice one. So,
You might get lucky and hit a nice one. That is the advice of Tom LaMarra on the Handicapping Show.
Seek again is the horse that I'm expecting to run very well.
Alrighty. Well, as always, we thank Briss for the PPs. Good weekend of racing up at Saratoga, and other races coming up. Del Mar, Ellis has the Gardenia. So I actually think Romans has a horse in there as well in the Gardenia at Ellis.
He does.
So,
Molly Morgan.
Molly Morgan, yeah. So.
Back.
All right, well, good luck to Dale Romans this weekend and to all the other horsemen who put on a great show. And thanks for Tom coming back.
For now, yeah.
And thank you for watching the Handicapping Show.